Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Distinguished Geek. My name is Alex. So we've all been in that situation where we've seen that film, be that in the cinema, in the comfort of your own home, or on your device, while travelling to a meeting which you pulled the short straw to attend. Regardless to how, when or where you watched it, it mentally and emotionally involved you, which left you shouting at the screen, "You can't leave it like that." Or at the end of the movie, you were left in a grieving state as you simply just needed closure, as there was so much more potential to the storyline. Either way, deep down, you knew it needed a sequel or a second series. Unless it gets cancelled, I don't know, let's say the 4th of August 2003, but due to the complete horror and outcry for the browncoats, the same director brings out a film 2 years later on the 7th of October 2005 called Serenity, which is a direct continuation from where the soddy last episode finished. I mean, you killed Wash. Why did you kill Wash? Sorry, got me carried away there. Where was I? Top 5 sequels. Top 5 sequels. You know what's coming up? Roll titles. Now, just to make it quite clear, there are certain sequels or franchises out there which are exempt. For example, like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future. Well, the first film was the best one out of the trilogy. So does technically that mean that Back to the Future doesn't have a great sequel? Of course not, which is why it's in exempt. Although I do have a soft spot for westerns. So if I had to rank the trilogy, it would be Back to the Future 1, 3, and 2. Let me know in the comments how you would rank them. Right, let's get on with the show. So without further ado, at number 5, we have Rambo First Blood Part 2. In a nutshell, John Rambo is experiencing PTSD, but hey, this is the 80s, so he's just a troubled, misunderstood veteran with anger issues. He gets arrested while looking for an old friend in a fictional town of Hope. He gets abused by the police, which triggers flashbacks, and Rambo snaps. Let's just say the police don't come out walking from that one. So a manhunt is issued for him, and subsequently he gets caught and jailed. In part 2, Rambo's former boss, Colonel Troutman, offers Rambo a deal if he agrees to go back to Vietnam and look for American POWs. If he does, his criminal record will be expunged. But things turn for the worst, and when Rambo's Vietnamese lover gets killed by American forces, shit hits the fan, and Rambo does what Rambo does best: revenge. I mean, only Rambo could shoot through a windscreen with a rocket launcher without killing the occupants behind the back blast, while simultaneously taking out a Russian Hind helicopter. I think that's worthy for a place in the top 5. Coming in at number 4 is Sicario 2, starring Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro with a handful of others. A story about taking down a drug cartel operating on the US and Mexico border. The CIA worked with a covert operative to kidnap Kingpin's daughter and make it look like a rival cartel did it, deliberately increasing the tensions between the two rivals and essentially flushing out the Kingpin himself. However, sneaking back into the Mexico, things take a turn for the worst, and as you can imagine, the intended simple plan has gone straight out the window. Now, this isn't an original story by any measure, but it's a great concept of a popular genre with the likes of Narcos and Breaking Bad. However, this is not just your typical taking down a drug cartel story. With the cartel smuggling terrorists across the border into the US, it changes the game completely, as both senior characters, Matt Graver, aka Josh Brolin, and Alejandro Grillick, aka Benicio del Toro, both have their own agendas on the side of the main mission. An absolutely cracking film with the talks of Sicario 3 possibly in production sometime this year. Emphasis on possibly, as is not yet set in stone. And number 3 is Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventures, with the first film living up to its name, not falling short of complete excellence. Don't be fooled by the title of the second installment, as it's far from bogus. In fact, it's most triumphant. With an amazing cast with the likes of Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, William Sadler, and Josh Ackland, accompanied with a sublime soundtrack throughout the whole film, we see the two great ones travel through the afterlife rather than time after a villain from the future named Denominus sends two evil robots, one Ted Theodore Logan and one Bill S. Preston Esquire, to kill Bill and Ted, with successfully completing their mission and plummeting them from 1 minute and 8 seconds down to hell, where they meet, well, let them say it.
Our bass player, the Duke of Spoof, the Dr. Shock, the man with no tan. Please say hello to Death himself, the Grim Reaper!
Thank you, boys. With the only way back to save the princesses was to challenge Death himself and sink his battleship. Thus, we see the journey into the afterlife continue to heaven. Talk about being in the right place at the right time, and quoting lyrics from a Poison song, they find themselves in the Savior by an unexpected Martian duo. A film that never gets too old to watch. There's only one word to describe how good it is.
Station.
Station!
I couldn't put it better myself. Right, we've come to the final two, and it's been very hard choosing who comes second, as both are worthy for first place. So I've gone with my heart. So coming in as second place, and I can't believe I'm putting it here, is Top Gun Maverick, a prime example of what I said in the intro about grieving and wanting closure. Not only is Maverick grieving about the loss of Goose, believing it's his fault that he died, so are the audience, as Goose, played by Anthony Edwards, stole the show. I mean, I still can't watch the part where Goose dies, as it has such an impact, no pun intended. But Maverick is also looking for closure so he can move on. This whole movie is one big opportunity to move on. We're seeing original characters and new characters coming together. The fact we see Admiral Kazansky, or Mr. Iceman to you, suffering from throat cancer, exactly what Val Kilmer is going through in real life, is absolutely heartbreaking, and yet one of the most beautiful things I've seen when writing in an original actor who is retired for whatever reason have chosen to. The emotion you see on the screen between Maverick and the Admiral is 100% real, and it's inevitable that we will be saying goodbye to iconic characters when it's been 36 years since the original film came out. However, on the flip side, we see characters like little Bradley Bradshaw singing on the top piano with his dad in the first film, now a naval aviator himself. In the sequel, going by the call sign Rooster, which incidentally Miles Teller chose himself. With the tables turned and Maverick, now the instructor, taking Rooster under his wing, he needs to convince that it wasn't his fault that Rooster's dad died while injecting from the flat spin. More so, Maverick needs to believe that himself before he can accept that. With the whole full circle thing, with Penny Benjamin back in the picture, and the first time we see that character, as we've only heard about her as a reference in the original movie after the whole incident where Maverick gets chewed out by Commander Jordan, call sign Stinger, who indicates that Maverick has been disciplined before, twice by Stinger himself, regarding a history of high speed passes over 5 control towers and 1 Admiral's daughter, to which Goose whispers to Maverick, Penny Benjamin, the one and only. A lovely touch, with Maverick getting back with a girl he lost and deep down really wants to be with, although he clearly wasn't really having a hard time with Charlotte Blackwood, was he? Call sign Charlie. Considering it's been a 36-year wait for a sequel, it did not disappoint. It could have so easily become another statistic where a sequel gets butchered. This film was a roller coaster of emotions, a superb fitting to an end of an era, with closure for characters, actors and audience combined. So, here we are, we've finally arrived at number 1. Have you guessed what it could be? Well, I'll put you out of your misery. At number 1, we have the amazing Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm sure I don't have to explain the synopsis of this film because it's a cult classic. As we're well aware, the Cyberdyne Systems Model 101 has been sent to save John Connor from the TE-1000 as the mission to kill Sarah Connor failed in the first movie. This movie broke so many boundaries with advanced visual effects with ILM, including the first computer-generated main character, whilst also using primitive techniques such as angles and lighting, with some CGI, if you can call it that, compared to the likes of today. The film sits close to my heart as it was my coming of age movie. 16th of August 1991, I was 13 years old, the year I rebelled and watched and did everything I wasn't meant to do. Some fond memories of going to my friend Andy's house and renting the film the day it came out on video, copied it onto a blank tape. I can tell you, for a 13-year-old, that felt pretty exciting. Oh, how times have changed for adolescents. And if you're watching this video, dude, that was some year. It was a bittersweet year, as on the 24th of November 1991, we found out that Freddie Mercury had died, once again in my friend Andy's house. So, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my choices? I would love to hear your top 5 sequels. Please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I look forward to reading them. Well, thank you very much for watching and coming on this journey with me. If you would be so kind to like this video, as it helps with the algorithm in getting it out there to be seen. If you would like to see more videos on this channel, feel free to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Right, well, thank you again for watching. Have a great week, whatever you're doing, and as always, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.